Hey cuties, I'm Anika and you're watching What Happened on the Soap. This is the Days of Our Lives edition. Alright guys, let's get right on into this. Y'all know how we do on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give this an 8.5. You know what? I'm sorry. We were having a debate about this on Instagram because I think we were in the Young and the Restless comments. And this woman was like, she said something and she said, Days of Our Lives is a good soap. And I said, it is a good soap. It's one of those soaps that y'all are just not watching. But if you get into it, because a lot of people was like, that devil storyline. I said that is done. But if you get into this soap, minus that devil storyline, Days of Our Lives has it's always solid to me. Like they have a lot of different storylines going on. They play a lot of their actors. I like the fact that they play their veteran actors. It's a good soap. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because it all like they're always solid. They always at least get a 7. It's never like ugh to me. It's never like boring. But anyway, today is Tuesday, July 26th, 2022, and we start this off by talking about Sonny and Gabby. So he run in because he said, Gabby, you took a business that I was gonna get. He said, why would you do that? And she said, I didn't do that. And he said, yes, you did, or whatever. And she says, I did not do that this morning. That was not me. I was sitting over here dealing with Christine. She's out of jail or whatever. And he was like, oh, yeah. And so they started talking about that. And I said, well, who took, y'all just going to get off the fact that somebody stole the business from Sonny. Sonny found out who did it or whatever. Well, I wonder now if it was Alex. But let's keep moving on. So they start talking or whatever, and she tells him that she said, "Listen, Kristen wanted black, basic black. She wanted to be over it. To get her out of my hair, I said, take it, girl." Because he said, "Oh, because she kept you in your position." She said, "Yes," and so I don't have to deal with her. What you want? That's what you want. Go ahead and go on, move on. I'm done. And so then they start talking about Jake and all that. And she tells him, I was upset about Jake. She said, but that really was, we wasn't supposed to be together anyways. Stefan is the love of her life. She's dating Shin Lee. She's dating Lee and everything, but it ain't nothing serious. She said, let Gabby tell her it's not nothing serious. Stefan is the love of her life. Everybody else is just she just wasting a little, keeping herself entertained. I said, well, okay then, girl. So then we see Sonny goes home and Alex is there. I guess he had a pool, he had a workout, he had something because Sonny is looking for Uncle Vic, and he comes in and he sees Alex, and so that's our introduction to him. Some of y'all said the character change was too fast. I'm still gonna see him as Ben. I said, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was too fast. Maybe I don't know. We're gonna see. So then we see that Kristen is telling Brady and Chloe that she is now the executive of Basic Black. So she's their boss. And so they said, oh, really? Or whatever. And they said, but it doesn't matter. It's whatever. You could be our boss or whatever, but it doesn't even matter because we're not going any you don't have any power to fire and hire and do anything like that, and you're not gonna like why are you doing this? And Kristen is just like, she knows she's doing it to make life hell. She's doing it to get Chloe away from Brady and everything. And so I'm not gonna hold y'all long on this. So Chloe said, because we got other things to talk about. So Chloe says, listen, you're not gonna get rid of me, ma'am. As a matter of fact, let me show you. And so she plants one on Brady. Maybe Kristen was hot. Kristen was so hot, she was shaking. She said, I'm going to HR. I'm going to HR. She said, incidents like this, yes, ma'am, I'm going to HR because we have a zero tolerance for harassment. And so, yeah, you can't be doing this. So Kristen stumps herself out of that office and she finna do that report for HR. And so Chloe tells Brady, maybe it's just best that I leave because I don't have time to be worrying up with Kristen. And I said, well, maybe you should leave and just deal with Brady in your personal life, not work life or whatever. Because she's like, I could find another job. He said, of course you could find another job, but that's not what it's about. My dad built this up, and we took it over, and Nicole and I made this what it is. Because Kristen tried to play and say, you're fired, Chloe. And he said, only Nicole and I can fire people or whatever. And she said, yeah, I just playing. And Chloe was like, she don't mind going at Kristen, but she don't really, you know how you could do it, but do you really want to? Do you really want this headache in your life? That's where Chloe is with it. And so Brady said, "Don't worry, I'm finna go check on this or whatever." So then Brady goes over to Gabby and he says, "Really, baby?" Gabby dismissed Brady and told him, "Listen, she wanted a favor. I didn't have a choice." And he said, "But really, did you have, like, why don't you stand up to the bully?" And he said, "I know she trying to get you out at the mirror." And she said, "It is. And if she wanted this, that's your boss. Deal with it." And then she went right back to work because she said, "We ain't had no meeting. Get out of my office." Dismissed. So then we see that Kristen and Chloe go at it, and she comes back and she said, "Yep, I did that report to HR." And Chloe says, "It doesn't matter what you do. I'm not gonna leave Brady's bed, his office, his partnership. We're gonna be together." And Kristen said, "Oh, you want to declare war?" I said. And Chloe told her, "I give as good as I get." So Kristen was like, "You want to declare war?" I said, "Now, Chloe, I don't think Kristen is what you want." Now, you know you my girl and all, but I don't think Kristen is what you want. So let's move on. So then we see Maggie and Sarah talking, right? So Maggie and Sarah are talking, and Sarah, and they just dropped them in the episode like they had been talking forever. I said, "This is weird, but okay, let's go." And so she tells her she's worried because she says, "You don't know this, but I attacked Chanel with a knife." And she said, "If Xander hadn't been there, there's no telling what I would have done." And so Maggie's trying to reassure her that everything's fine. No one blames you. No one's charging you with murder or anything, and everything is going to be okay. Your medicines is working and everything. I said, "Okay, keep talking to this girl like she don't know what she's talking about." So then we see Gwen is at Xander's apartment, and she's telling him, she come in and she just tells him, "I I read the paper on what happened with Sarah being maybe possibly killing Abigail, and that's my fault." And so she gets all emotional because she says, "If I hadn't done that to Sarah, my sister would still be alive and everything. It's my fault." And I said, "Gwen, please don't tell me you playing this, because I don't know. I don't know, man." Because she said she did tell Xander that Gwen, Sarah visited her in prison, and that's how she realized that Sarah was having trouble and attacking people and everything. But I don't know, man. We gonna see about this. So then Gwen got all emotional because she's sad about Abigail and she's blaming herself. And Sarah come in and she was like, "What's going on here?" And then Xander tells Sarah, it's nothing. She just here to apologize. And so Gwen talks to Sarah and she said, "I know this is a lot coming from me, but I hope one day you could forgive me for what I did to you. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. If you did attack Abigail, it's my fault. Like, I should be blamed, and I'm sitting here out on pardon and everything." And then Sarah sees that Gwen has a gun in her hand, but Gwen does not have a gun, y'all. Sarah is hallucinating again. And she sees that Gwen says, "If I can't handle, nobody can," and she about to shoot Xander. And so then Sarah gets a knife and comes at Gwen. I said, "Girl, why y'all keep putting knives around this girl?" But anyway, so she started coming at Gwen, and Xander had to talk her down. And then Sarah was like, "Oh my God," and she ran off to the bathroom. So then Gwen and Xander talking. She said, "Oh my goodness, Xander." She was like, "Xander, I'm afraid for you." And he was like, "No, she wouldn't hurt me or whatever." And she was like, "Her being like that is my fault though." And so again, Gwen gonna go up to Xander and she gonna cup his face and all that. I said, "Gwen, you will not. Now you know you my girl, but I feel like you using this to your advantage." But anyway, so she cups his face and all that, and she tells him, "It's my fault, and that Sarah's like this, and I'm afraid for your safety, and just be safe." And he like, "All right, I'm about to go check on Sarah." And then Sarah comes back out, and Gwen tells her, excuse me, and Gwen tells her she's leaving, and Xander was like, "I was just about to go check on you." So Gwen apologizes to Sarah again, and she tells Xander, "I'm not gonna say anything about Sarah trying to attack me." I'm not gonna do the police or anything. Xander says thank you and she leaves. And then Sarah is just like, oh my gosh, I had another hallucination. Why won't this stop? Because she's adjusted her meds and everything. When is this gonna stop? I said, I don't know, but I feel like you should never be by yourself. So then we see pick up where we left off with Eric, Nicole, and I don't know this man name, the mugger. And he's attacked Nicole. Eric done talked to him, and he feel like Eric is the one who is trying to call the police. Eric followed him. I said, "Now, sir, now you know Eric did not follow you. It took you too long." Eric sat down, had breakfast, flirted with Jada, talked to Steve and Kayla, and then went for a jog. And that boy did not follow you, sir. But anyways, Eric talks him off the ledge or whatever. Cause I said, Nicole, why don't you just get this man your purse? Give up your purse. I didn't understand it. Just get this man your purse. They say they said don't fight it, just give it up. Like, God, my gosh. But anyway, so Eric finally talked the boy off the ledge and he went running or whatever. But he pushed Nicole to get out the way and she done hurt herself. And so Eric is checking on Nicole because she's shaking up. And then Rafe bring himself up top. Get your hands off my wife or whatever. And Nicole said, Rafe. And then when he looks at her, he can see she upset. And she, like, first of all, you didn't question, like, why they were on the ground. Like, what are you... You're insecure, but this is why you rushed Nicole into going and marrying you. Because you were insecure about Eric. But don't worry, Eric is talking to Jada. Or soon will be. Anyways, Nicole tells Rafe, I was just robbed. I was just mugged, attempted to be robbed or whatever. And so she explaining everything. And I'm like, Rafe, go after the man. But Rafe's sitting here with Nicole. I said, go after the man because he's armed and dangerous. But no, Rafe want to sit here with Nicole because he's too insecure to leave her alone with Eric. And now Nicole trying to get up, but she can't walk. And so so Rafe calls it in or whatever, and they tell him, you need to, Nicole tells him, you need to go after him. He is dangerous. And Rafe is just like, I can't with you. And Eric's like, I'll take her home or whatever. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So then we see Ava and Jake. So Ava and Jake talk, and he tells her he wants to be engaged. Now they don't want to get married, but this is it's an engagement. That's what engagement is supposed to be, where you tell the world, she's mine. Yep. No, not that song. Anyways, this is what engagement is supposed to be, where you tell people, like, we're together. Off limits here. I choose you. I choose you. Anyways, they telling the world that they choose each other, and she said, you're not just trying to do this just to do this. He said, no, like, he said, I love you or whatever. So they love each other, and they're like, okay, let's do this. And so he says, hold on, I'm finna go get the ring. And I said, why she can't go with you? I guess he wanted to surprise her, but if you really wanted to surprise her, you shouldn't have told her all this. But okay, so he go and get the ring or whatever, and he come back and propose, and it's a ring that used to be Gwen. So Ava said, no, I can't wear that ring. That used to be Gwen's ring. And so then they go back to the jeweler, and they find out that he picked out the best ring. Gwen's ring was the best ring. So she said, you know what? We're going to change this or whatever. And he gave us the wedding bands for free. So they said, Ava, will you marry me eventually? And she said, yes, I will eventually. And so that's it. And I said, oh, I love me some Jake and Ava or whatever together. And so then they're happy. They're about to they're going to get married eventually and everything. And then, oh boy, the mother comes through and he said, that's a nice ring. That's a nice rock. Give it here. And Ava did what you supposed to do. She said, well, here, you can go on and have this rock. And Jake said, he ain't getting this. The boy had a gun and everything. He said, why don't you put that gun down? And Ava said, Jake, what you doing? He said, you don't know who you messing with. And then the boy shot Jake. And I said, well, Jake, obviously he did know who he was messing with because you didn't do nothing. But anyways, the boy shot Jake. Ava is speechless. And that was Days of Our Lives today, guys. Don't forget to like,